The Delta variant and an increase in cases, largely within the unvaccinated population, has led us to pause and reflect on what steps, what measures can we take through public health and through other initiatives to protect British Columbians, to protect businesses, and to make sure that we can keep doing to the best of our ability those things that make life here in British Columbia so special. Getting vaccinated is the way forward through this pandemic. We have outstanding numbers. Minister Dix will go through this shortly. 3/4 of British Columbians eligible, 12 and above, have had 2 doses of approved, safe, and effective vaccines. Over 82.5%, I think, have already had a first dose. And today, we are announcing the initiation of what we're calling the BC Vaccine Card to make sure that when you go out to non-discretionary activities like ticketed sporting events, indoor concerts, movies, wherever there is non-discretionary activity that you can go to with the confidence that those around you have also taken steps to protect themselves and their families, the BC Vaccine Card will help us get there. This gives people time, as we start with a target date of September 13th, to implement the BC Vaccine Card with an end date of October 24th, plus 7 days to ensure that the vaccines, the second vaccine for those who have not yet had their immunizations, will be safe to go into the broader population. This is a step we believe is important at this point in the pandemic, and Dr. Henry will go into some of the details. But there is no reason why those who are anxious to participate in the social and economic life of our community can't take that next step and get that safe, effective vaccine. They're free. We have clinics around the province. There will be more opportunities through pop-up clinics, through walk-in clinics, to make sure that that decreasing number of people who have not yet taken advantage of this opportunity will do so. And when they do that, that will give them opportunities to go to nightclubs, to go to restaurants, where I have to say, and it's critically important at this point, in our consultations with the business community, those who provide services to people, restaurateurs, the hospitality sector, tourism industries that have indoor activities, sporting events, cultural events, arts events, all of them want to make sure that they can continue to provide quality entertainment, quality services for British Columbians, and they want to do it in a way that gives their patrons confidence that they're taking every step possible to make sure that they can attend an event, they can go to a spin class, they can go out for dinner, and not be fearful that they may come into contact with someone who may be able to transmit COVID-19. The BC Vaccine Card is following in the footsteps of other jurisdictions. I've spoken to Premier Legault in Quebec, who was an early adherent to a passport, an immunization card in that province, and we've learned a great deal from their implementation, and of course other jurisdictions will learn from the work we do here in British Columbia. British Columbians need to know that this is the first time anything like this has ever been tried. There may be bumps along the way, but we're very confident. Minister Dix and his team have been working with Citizen Services throughout the summer to make sure that technologies can be ready to go in September. Dr. Henry and her team have been making sure that we're doing this in a way that keeps everybody fully apprised of the state of play as we go forward. So with that, I'll turn the microphone over to Dr. Henry, and she can fill in the details.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon. So as the Premier indicated, I also want to begin today by recognizing everybody in British Columbia who has taken that important step of protecting themselves and their family and their communities by getting vaccinated to help us get through this pandemic. We've come a long way since this pandemic began 19, 20 months ago, and over the past 18 months, we have pulled through these challenging times together, and we need to continue to recalibrate, to look at what's going on around us, and to take the necessary actions to get us through this next phase. And as we have been through the last year and a half, 2 years, we do it as a province united, with compassion and with kindness. And British Columbians continue to demonstrate their strong resolve to put this behind us. Thankfully, we have a powerful and effective tool now that helps us on this journey, and that's vaccinations. Not only are they very, very safe, but they provide protection to you, to those who you are closest to, your loved ones, and your community, and allows us to get back to those much-needed social interactions and connections that we need. Vaccines have changed the way we deal with the pandemic and have made it possible to remove restrictions and get back to doing some of those things that we love. And we've seen that. We've had that opportunity over this past few months of the summer, even though we've been faced with other challenging situations that have made it more and more difficult. And while we are making excellent progress with our vaccine efforts, we continue to see waves of cases, particularly in people who are not yet vaccinated. Over the past month and up until the end of last week, people who've not been fully vaccinated account for almost 90% of all of our cases and over 93% of the hospitalizations that we've had in this past month. To put it in context, we have a rate of about 28 per 100,000 cases in people who are unvaccinated, compared to 2 per 100,000 in people who are fully vaccinated. What that tells us is that your risk is 10 times higher if you've not been protected through vaccine. And what we are seeing is that leads to transmission in clusters of groups of people when they come together, particularly now that we are seeing transmission with the highly transmissible Delta variant across the province. These numbers are a stark reminder to all of us why vaccines matter. And we have made incredible progress in our shared efforts to put the pandemic behind us. High levels of transmission among unvaccinated people mean that further action is needed to help reduce transmission, to keep all of our businesses open and ensure we can continue to enjoy the social events that we have been able to through the summer as we head into the fall. The science is clear. As I said, unvaccinated people are at a more than 10 times higher risk than vaccinated people. When you are vaccinated, it means that you are less likely to get infected. If you are infected, you shed virus for a shorter period of time, you're less likely to transmit to other people, and you're much less likely to have a severe illness that leads to hospitalization. And we've seen that that protection is remaining strong when we look around the world and here in BC, which is why these new measures are now needed to ensure that as we move into the fall, as we know that our respiratory season will be ramping up, and we can ensure indoor social settings are as safe as they can be for the vast majority of us who have been immunized. The best protection as well of those who cannot yet be immunized, particularly children under the age of 12, as they head back to school in a few short weeks, is that all of us around those people are protected. That means we stop the transmission and we protect children as well. So a new provincial health officer order will require individuals to provide proof of vaccination, our BC vaccination card, to access certain social, recreational, and discretionary events and businesses throughout the province. As of September 13th, you will need to have at least one dose of vaccine to enter these settings, and by October 24th, entry to these settings will require people aged 12 and older to be fully vaccinated at least 7 days after receiving both doses.